Thank you very much for joining our today's session. My name is Mohammed Kader. I am taking the lead of the technical division in Jubilee Bros, Dubai, and I'm also looking after the other branches. Today's presentation is about PID effects in solar PV system and Huawei PID solutions. So without any further delay, I start my presentation. I'll quickly give you an introduction about Jubilee Bros. Most of you would be already aware of that Jubilee is around 43 years old company headquartered in Lebanon. We are having our offices in 10 countries and having 29 branches. Our total number of employees in all these countries are around 1341. And we have also chain of dealers in countries where we are not ourselves present. So our vision is to be a pioneer in delivering conventional and renewable energy solutions. Our mission is to be trusted by our customers to provide reliable energy solutions delivered through the expertise of our dedicated team and the support of our global partners. So Jubilee Bros incepted in the market in 1977, and the solar division has started 40 years from the date of its inception almost in 2017. And we have been doing distribution business since then. The solar division has 6 key pillars for supporting our EPC customers. Because the first is product supply. The second is trainings in order to acknowledge with the new trends and the new technology that is brought up in the products that we supply. The third is the engineering support. We can help you with the verification of your designs and can always support you with the technical abilities that our team has. We have certified engineers for the product. The fourth is leads. Since we have a wide reach, we could be also contacted by end users to provide certain solutions which we could just relate forward to our trusted EPC partners. The fifth is referral to available finance for projects where you need financing. You can also get tech with us and we can connect you to our partners that are doing financing of the projects. And sixth, and the most important one I would say, is the after sales support of the product that we supply. So our engineers are capable to provide you support remotely, and we are required also on site. So we provide you key components of solar PV equipment as of now, and for Huawei Fusion Solar inverters and accessories is the first thing that we supply. The next in line is Lomax mounting structure, which is aluminum mounting structure manufacturer. We are exclusive partner for this. And apart from that, we are also supplier of tier 1 solar module manufacturers. If you have special applications of hybrid solutions, we can also provide you PV diesel hybrid controller. This would be a plug and play device, pre-configured, and we can also support you on site or remotely for commissioning of such projects. Jubilee Bros as a valued partner and certified service partner of Huawei. It provides inverters with higher yields, which makes smart O&M easy for you guys, and it has very low OPEX. Product is safe and reliable and has a high life cycle of 25 years. In 2019, Jubilee Bros supplied 69.2 megawatt of Huawei solar inverters. And in 2020, till the end of October, Jubilee Bros has supplied 93 megawatt, and we are eyeing to close the year with 120 megawatt. So, going ahead with the main topic of the day, PID effects in solar PV systems and Huawei PID solutions. First thing that I will be speaking about is what is PID itself, industry PID solutions, and the third topic will be about Huawei's PID solutions. Just to give you a quick background of P module potential induced degradation. It is a natural phenomena that the P module cell uh, can also send its current, its electron, to the surface of the P modules. Why that happens is because positive ions can accumulate on the surface of the solar panel. Since the P module frame is grounded normally, so the escape becomes very easy for the electrons to when there is positive ions on the surface of the solar panels. For a PV string, normally half of its modules are connected to the positive pole and has a positive potential to Earth, and the remaining modules in this same string has a negative potential to Earth. The potential to Earth is increased when we have more modules in a string. So it means if you have a PV string with high DC voltage, it is prone to more PID effect. As you can see in this picture at the in the right side, there are 6 PV modules. Half of these have negative potential to Earth, and the rest of the half on the positive side has positive potential to Earth. Normally, these potential difference in low voltage string inverters are between 200 to 500 volts. What is the main cause of potential induced degradation? So, uh, solar panels that have a negative potential to Earth uh, have this negative potential to Earth also with the mounting uh, system of your PV plant. Now, these mounting systems are normally grounded and which is also connected to the frames of your PV panels. And when positive ions from the air accumulates on the surface of your solar PV panel, normally in the shape of sodium ions, these has a high influence on the performance of your P panels by inducing PID. As you can see in the picture below, the cells are normally inside encapsulation or EVA shades in the solar PV modules, above which there is a glass, on the side there is a frame. So what happens when a PID effect occurs is the negative ions from the solar cells escapes and moves toward the surface of the solar panel, and the positive ions, which is sodium normally, goes inside the solar cells. And doing so will affect the performance of solar PV panels, and your solar panels will perform less than what it should do. Now, these effects must be repaired, otherwise your PV plant in the long run will keep deteriorated its production, and you will have a lot of energy yield losses. What are the factors What were the environmental factors? I would say, rather, that becomes a problem of a PID degradation. So, temperature and humidity are the main factors that results into PID degradation of solar PV modules. Degradation is also related to the degree of contamination of the glass plate caused by objects that are electrically conductive, acidic, alkaline, or ionic. What is the harm of PID? So when a PID occurs, what happens is that the VOC and ISC of your solar PV modules almost remains the same. But when it is connected to an inverter and it is performing, it's providing this power to the load, the maximum power point of the solar PV modules uh, will be shifted to a lower side. As you can see in this graph on the left side, uh, normally the AVI curve of a solar PV module is shown in the red line. With the potential induced degradation effect, these will be shifted more and more as the time goes. If such PV module is tested before a PID degradation happens through an electroluminescence test, the cells will have all the cells in the PV module will have the same brightness as shown here. As shown here. And if the PID effect has happened and your solar PV modules are exposed to certain environment, then the cells will become black, as shown on the right picture. So this picture is actually an EL image of panel before a PID degradation that has happened, and after the same PV module is exposed for 100 hours and 1000 volt PID. Where does PID effects normally occurs? Talking of one solar PV panel, and then I will speak of the whole string. If you have a solar panel on the negative side of your string, normally it gets affected with the PID, and the cells which are closer to the frame of your solar panel will get affected quicker. And by the time, if you do not cure it, the cells in the center area will also get affected. If we talk of a whole PV string, the PV modules which are on the negative pole of the PV string gets affected by the PID sooner. So you guys would already be aware of there are many solar PV modules available in the market that um, says that they are PID free. What a PID free is actually, and how do they claim this? Actually, there is a certain IEC test, which is IEC 62804, that tests the solar PV modules and certifies the manufacturers that particular range of PV panel. Now, this test is done at a voltage at which the solar PV module is rated and exposed to certain air temperature of 60 degrees Celsius almost, and a chamber humidity of 85% almost. And these tests is done almost for 96 hours, and the result is taken out. If the PID degradation is less than 5%, such PV modules are called as PID free. You can say there is still a chance of up to 5% of PID degradation with certified solar PID free modules. So to be clear, solar panels that are totally PID free do not exist. Highly PID resistance would be a better description of these solar panels than PID free. So what the manufacturers are doing in order to make sure that their panels are PID free is to provide a better EVA in the production of PV modules that encapsulates the cells from the frame and the surface. So what are the industry PID solutions available? Solution one is direct grounding of PV modules for negative side of the PV module. So if you are grounding the negative side of your PV module, it will become at the same potential which your earth is, and therefore electrons will not escape. Just to give you a more detailed overview of this, here is this graph on the right side. You can see is that when normally your PV strings have a negative and positive potential. If you are and after you have connected the negative side of your PV module string to earth, then both the negative side and the earth will be at the same potential. Thus, the whole PV module string potential will be shifted to the positive side, and these will also suppress the PID effect. So what is the advantage of this type of solution? It is a cheap and effective way of reducing the PID effect, but on the other hand, it cannot be applied with transformerless inverters, which is the main trend, uh, especially for residential, commercial, industrial scenarios. So you are not allowed to do negative grounding with the string and transformerless inverters. Because it has high electric shock risk. If fuse or resistor fail to work on earth alarm occurs, and this can also damage your inverter. What is solution 2? External PU offset box for recovery at night. Now these type of offset boxes available in the market from different manufacturers that they provide, and you have to buy them separately and incorporate them in your PU plant, which is normally not done as I have seen. So what does it do? Is that so when solar energy array voltage falls below a certain voltage uh, after the evening, when there is no irradiance available, this PV offset box will sense that and will sense positive potential to the negative side of your PV array. This will reverse the polarization effect that has happened during the day, and thus it will cure the PID effect. So this happens daily, and it will not affect the operation of your PV plant during the day, and the PID recovery happens at night. What is the advantage of this solution? Is that external PV offset box can be retrofitted to existing old plants and repairing PID effects. So normally one PV offset box is also adaptable to many different manufacturers. So you will get the flexibility of using one single brand with multiple inverters. The disadvantage of PV offset box is that with each inverter you will be needing a PV offset box, and you will need to do cabling of PV offset box to each string on the DC side. And if you have multiple inverters in your PV plant, you will need to have multiple PV offset boxes, and you will be doing a lot of cabling. What is Huawei PID solution? Solution one is virtual ground of PV modules for separation. Now, Huawei provides this Huawei NT-PID module, as you can see in this picture, and it will shift the negative potential of the PV string towards the positive side, and that also happens at the night time. So as you can see in this diagram, in this SLD shown here, normally there is a capacitance between the positive side of the PV string and the negative side. That is being read, and at night time, this anti-PID box will shift, will read this and will send positive uh, potential to the inverter on the AC side, and it will not increase the phase-to-phase potential, but there will be a subsequent potential that will be between the phase to neutral. Now, this positive potential that has been created by the NT-PID module is used internally inside the inverter to fuse the PID effect on the DC string side. Now, the benefit with using the Huawei NT-PID module is that you will be using one NT-PID module up to a 5 megawatt of PV plant. This will reduce the capex and the initial expense of your PV plant, and it also since Huawei inverters have also the RCD, and so any shocks um, uh, will also be avoided to the RCD protection. What is the disadvantage? Being frank, the PID module must be used in an isolation grid tie system. So what does it mean? So you cannot use the Huawei NT-PID module in case you are not using an IT grid connected network. So you must be using an IT grid connected network where you are not using the neutral side of the inverter. So these NT-PID solution is also tested by TUV and have certified the Huawei solution. So there is a project in Hulu of about 100 megawatt fishing and PV integrated plant. As you know about, if you are putting a solar on a fishing PV plant, and there is a high temperature as well, so there is a high chance of PID occurrence as well. So on certain part of the this PV plant, the NT-PID module was used, and other part was left as it is. So what happened is that for 30 randomly sampled inverters that has been taken on from the part where NT-PID module was used from Huawei, the PV negative voltage to ground was tested, and the graph as shown here, you can see that those PV module negative potential to earth was shifted on the positive side, and this was ranging from 13 to almost 72 volts. On the other hand, on the areas where the NT-PID module was not used, when checked by the TUV guys, the negative potential of PV string to earth was tested and found between minus 323 to minus 368. And these results in actually degradation of your PV plant if you have accumulation of positive ions on surface of your PV panel. Now, the second solution that Huawei provides is a built-in recovery module inside the PV inverter itself. Huawei's new inverters are having this feature. Mm. So Huawei transformerless inverters are now adopting this new feature. And this is also using the same virtual ground scenario feature of the NT-PID module in order to cure the PID effect that occurs on the PV plant. And what happens is that during the daytime, it will not affect the operation of your PV plant, but in the night time, the inverter will cure your solar PV panels. The advantage is as compared to the external PID offset box is that the built-in PID recovery module helps in reducing system capex. You are not using additional device in order to cure this. You are not doing cabling, and also there is a lot of labor involved if you are doing the PID offset box uh, recovery tab. So the key points of built-in PID recovery module. The built-in PID recovery module obtains auxiliary power from the internal output board of the inverter. No external power supply required. Self-power consumption is 1.5 kWh per month per inverter. The built-in PID recovery module can be enabled or disabled our Huawei Fusion Solar app. So when you install and commission in an inverter, you have the option of turning on and off the feature of built-in PID recovery. So in areas where you are sure that there is a minimal chance or no chance of PID to occur, you might be thinking of not using this feature because it consumes a little power at the end of the day. So it is suggested to turn on when the inverter is installed at the beginning because you can use this feature and make sure that there is no PID accumulation or PID that will affect the production of your PV pump. So as I said earlier again, I'm repeating it, that it will not affect the grid connected power generation in the daytime. The built-in PID recovery adopts to the maximum DC voltage of 1100 volt type of Huawei inverters. It supports multiple grid connected scenarios, the TNC grid connected network, the TNCS and the TT power grid systems, but does not support the IT power grid system. But for our IT power grid system, we have a different solution, which is the NT-PID and module. So for we have a solution of curing the PID in both the IT power network and the TNC, TNCS, and TT. Huawei built-in PID recovery function supports the P-tab mono or polycrystalline PV modules and per BAF HPU modules. For other type of PV modules, if you're using in your PV plant, you can consult to us as well, and we can cross-confirm again if it's possible to use the PID recovery or the NT-PID feature to cure the effect. So this is a table including all the inverter models supplied by Huawei, and as you can see that the from 3 to 20 kilowatt with the new versions that Huawei has introduced in the market, the NT-PID is a built-in function of the inverter. You will not need to use any NT-PID module outside the inverter. With the rest of the inverter from 36 kilowatt uh, up till the largest inverter that's available till now is the 200 kilowatt, not mentioned on this list. You can use the NT-PID module in the IT network. Now, Huawei is also introducing a new range of inverter uh, from 30 to 40. There is 3 inverter sizes and also 100 kilowatt with optional PID recovery. So conclusion of the presentation, that PID effects will occur when there are potential difference between PV negative string to ground in high humidity areas and high temperature areas. These will be accelerated, and it will have negative impacts on PV modules, which leads to power reduction. And PID recovery can effectively repair module performance to most of its initial power output. It cannot make maybe 100% as it is on the PV module on the first day of its use, but it will definitely repair it to almost as it was on the first day of its usage. And the virtual ground anti-PID scheme eliminates the occurrence of PID fundamentally. This is the virtual ground anti-PID scenario that is being used in both the anti-PID modules of Huawei and also the built-in PID recovery of Huawei. So you can see at the bottom here we have graphs on the left and the right. There is a negative effect of PID is being shown before the PID has occurred. PID issue has occurred. So you can see that the three samples shown here was giving a high generation of power, and after that, when there was no PID used in the P plant, it had degraded it to 73% of its power output after 6 nights of operation, by the way. And after the PID recovery module was applied, the power output of the inverter increased to 94% now. So, and looking at the second graph, this is showing you the negative impact of on the power yield of the inverter. And initially, 3 samples second was when the inverter was giving you very high output, and exposed to after having exposed to a PID environment, the production of the uh, P plant decreased to 4%, and after having used the NT-PID and the PID recovery function of the inverter, it increased to 96%, and having used the NT-PID module, which is a separate type of solution, the yield has increased to 99%. So installation that happens are normally with high voltage of 7 to 800 volts. So it is very good to have an inverter with a built-in PID recovery. With the new Huawei inverters, you will benefit a lot, and you will not be needing to use PID killer devices available in the market, or rather the built-in feature will cue the PID effect. You will just be needing to turn on the PID function, PID recovery function. You're using a built-in PID recovery feature of the inverter. So thank you guys for being part of the webinar again. Now I will be going through the questions that have been asked during the session in the chat box. And if you have any further question, you can write down and I will be answering them one by one.